Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, I am delighted, because we've got new GXs to talk about. And we're going to start with Solgaleo, because Solgaleo is really good. I am a huge fan of this Solgaleo GX. I liked the other one. I think this one is better. Shout out to @AutobotTesla on Twitter, who leaked the news of this new GX and gave a lovely translation there of it. Does commissions, they're very good. Go check him out. But we're going to be talking about Solgaleo GX. And there's a lot to like about Solgaleo. It's a metal type, so it means you're hitting weakness against Gardevoir, which is good. It is weak to fire, which is an issue with Ho-Oh, Volcanion, Turtonator, Salazzle, etc. But these things happen. And it has got a resistance to Psychic, which is good because Garbodors are running around. And as we've seen with Metagross, resistance to Psychic plus 250 HP, that is going to give you a fair bit of staying power. Retreat of 2 is a bit awkward because it's not a retreat cost of 1 and you can't use Heavy Ball. It is, in fact, the worst retreat cost. The ability, however, oh lordy, I like the ability. It removes weakness from all of your Pokemon. All of your Pokemon have no weakness. Now, to be fair, this is not actually a completely new ability. We saw this back in Supreme Victors with Exploud, and we've had other Pokemon. Feel free to stick some of your memories of these kind of Pokemon in the comment section. Why am I loving it now? Because weakness has a part in this format like crazy. For instance, this particular Solgaleo, like Metagross, weak to fire, so you've got Volcanion decks. But Volcanion decks are weak to water, which is a big issue against Greninja or Alolan Vulpix. And then, of course, you've got both Alolan Vulpix and Gardevoir that are weak to metal, like Metagross. We have weakness being a huge issue in the format at the moment. Of course, that Exploud just had the ability, and as we're going to see, this has more than just the ability. The other great thing here is that this ability is quite difficult to get rid of. The only way you can turn off abilities generally of Stage 2 Pokemon at the moment is using Garbodor. I know you've got some specific ones like Greninja, but that's just for those decks. And although some people are playing Garbodor, there's a whole bunch of people that aren't, and that means that when you drop a Solgaleo, you are going to have no weakness on any of your Pokemon until that Solgaleo is actually KO'd. And this works for Solgaleo as well, which means you've got a 250 HP Pokemon, and that fire weakness I mentioned earlier that I was worried about, oh no, wait, it doesn't have a fire weakness because of the ability. But it's still printed on there for when the ability gets turned off. And fire decks, ladies and gentlemen, fire decks don't play Garbodor. Which means that essentially, this is a 250 HP Pokemon with no weakness. You thought Tapu Bulu's 180 when no weakness was good. Yeah. Say hello to Solgaleo. And one thing I love about this, let's say you take a Ho-Oh. Let's say you give him a choice band. Let's say you steam up once with Volcanion EX. You're still only doing 240 and not getting a KO on what should be a fire weak Pokemon. But the fact that this is an ability means that you can tech Solgaleo into any deck you like to get rid of weakness. Metagross, some people are playing it with Solgaleo anyway. Now you get rid of that crippling fire weakness. That's pretty good. And actually, Metagross's fire weakness was really harsh, because Metagross really hits a maximum 180 with a choice band. Ho-Oh's got 190, so Ho-Oh against Metagross was horrible. But not when you've got no weakness, ladies and gentlemen. It means Gardevoir has no weakness to Solgaleo, or indeed Metagross, and a bunch of people have been playing Gardevoir with weakness policy because of the crippling weakness it has to Metagross. It's a very, very bad matchup. Of course, not everybody cares. The aforementioned Tapu Bulu's just sitting there being like, weakness, what's that? Of course, you could always, and I'm not sure how much I like this, but you could always just play a 1-0-1 line of Solgaleo in any deck that's already playing Rare Candy. In decks like Gardevoir, in decks like Metagross, you're already playing 4 Rare Candy. So you could play 1 Cosmog, you could play 1 Solgaleo, and then just at some point, you Rare Candy into a Solgaleo, assuming neither Cosmog nor Solgaleo is actually prized in that game. It's risky, but it means you're only using 2 cards, rather than the 3 or 4 you might use for weakness policy, and you don't need it in every game. So if you can get this out, you remove your weakness, and it just turns matchups around entirely. So we like the ability, we like the first attack as well. Double colourless energy, 120 damage, attach 2 basic energy cards from the discard to one of your benched Pokémon. The translation Autobot Tesla has means it's the same as Rayquaza from Guardians Rising. Double colourless energy, you can attach 2 basic, but they've got to be to the same benched Pokémon. Of course, unlike Rayquaza, you're not doing 30 damage when you do this. You're actually doing 120 damage when you do this. That is so much better. It is a stage 2, which is a little bit awkward. But one thing I really like, we've been talking lately, I did a video about it recently, using the other Solgaleo with Rayquaza to accelerate energy, because the Solgaleo GX from Sun and Moon does 230, but discards the energy to do so. So what you can do brilliantly here is you use Solgaleo from Sun and Moon to do 230, and then you discard all the energy. You use Solgaleo from Sun and Moon's ability to switch into the new Solgaleo, do 120 for just a double colourless while attaching 2 energy to Sun and Moon Solgaleo, and then next turn you attach 1 energy to Sun and Moon Solgaleo, use the ability to switch it in, you're hitting another 230. You're hitting 230 one turn, and 120 while accelerating the next turn, and they have no weakness! How cool is that? There is really, really nice synergy between the 2 Solgaleo GX. It's kind of like using Rayquaza, except on a much bulkier Pokemon that doesn't have a weakness and does a lot more damage. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Of course, you are then rolling with stage 2s, which is a bit less convenient than basics, but hey-ho, these things happen. The GX attack, it's another GX attack that's being reused. We saw that Silvally has the same GX attack as Lycanroc. Well, this Solgaleo has the same GX attack as Primarina. Yeah, that's a bit of a weird one. Did not see that one coming. For a double colourless energy, you get to heal all of your Pokemon. Just remove all damage from all of your Pokemon. Think of it like a max potion, but on all of your Pokemon at once, and you don't have to discard any energy to do so. I very recently did a list of the top 10 GX attacks, link in the description, and I put this very high up on the list, and I said it was a great GX attack, but the issue is that it's on a Pokemon that doesn't really have anything else going for it. The biggest issue here is, and I love this, because think about this, you've got a 250 HP Pokemon that has no weakness and takes away the weakness of the rest of your Pokemon, that then has a GX attack that heals all of your Pokemon. So you're sitting there, all of your Pokemon have no weakness, and then you can heal them all if they're not one-hit KO'd. And of course this really helps Solgaleo as a tech, because this GX attack uses colourless energy, so if you're only using Solgaleo as a tech in a non-Solgaleo deck, you can still use either of the attacks because they're just for a double colourless energy. That makes it, in terms of a tech, almost ludicrously adaptable, even bearing in mind that it's a stage 2. Although the irony is, you're not actually going to be using this as a GX attack in a Solgaleo deck, because in a Solgaleo deck you are almost certainly going to want to be using Soul Burst GX to attach 5 energy from your deck to any of your Pokemon in any way that you like. Although I suppose if you get enough energy in the discard early enough, you could just sit here using the first attack on this new Solgaleo to accelerate energy to your bench instead. Certainly in expanded, when we got Battle Compressor, that's an option. Little bit less of an option in standard, but something to bear in mind. I adore this new Solgaleo GX. I think the HP at 250 is brilliant. I think the typing, so that it takes down Gardevoir, one of the best decks in the format, is brilliant. And I think I even didn't mention earlier that the first attack here doing 120 with weakness is enough to KO a Gardevoir, Sylveon, etc. I think the ability, taking away the weakness of all of your Pokemon, is brilliant. I think that the first attack doing 120 while accelerating energy, even if you're not hitting for weakness, is brilliant. I think the GX attack healing all of your Pokemon is brilliant. I think the fact that all of its attacks are just for a double colourless energy, meaning you can pop this in any deck you like, is brilliant. And I think the fact that it combos so beautifully with the already pretty good and arguably underplayed Solgaleo GX is brilliant. As far as I'm concerned, ladies and gentlemen, this is a 5 WOSSy card. And if you think I'm wrong, come at me in the comments, although remember the cardinal rule, be nice. We can argue while being nice, but it's just every part of this card is good. The ability, both the attacks, the typing, the HP. There's so much to love here. I didn't even really think that hard about whether to give it 5 WOSSys or not. I went straight for 5 WOSSys. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think, so let me know in the comments. Go nuts! Be nice. Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the WOSSy, and Twitch at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. That's where the live action happens. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus pods, etc., you can do so at patreon.com/PTCGRadio. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.